Can everyone hear me okay? We're good? All right, awesome. We don't have much time, so I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to talk to you about Bitcoin and AI, and I'll, of course, make a prediction because that's what we're doing. I predict in somewhere between 1 to 5 years, we'll all be using applications that are powered by AI, and behind the scenes, that AI is busy buying services and doing various things for you using Bitcoin, right? And so we'll dive into the specifics of, I'll convince you, I hope, that that's exactly how that will happen. All right, so here is a QR code if you want to scan that. There's links and such in the slide deck. Very, very briefly, hi, I'm Hannah Rosenberg. I'm the developer advocate at Lightning Labs. I'm on LinkedIn if you care about that. I am on both the centralized and the decentralized social medias, so you can find me there. All right, so let's get straight into it. Ooh, hold on. There we go. All right, so imagine everyone's heard of Bitcoin. How many people have heard of Lightning, Bitcoin's second layer? Okay, good amount of people. For those who are not familiar, this is what Lightning looks like in my head. We have that blockchain happening down there at the bottom, which is nice and slow and steady and super secure, and we love that. But we want to do things super fast and really affordably, right? And so we want to do them on the Lightning Network, which is a second layer above Bitcoin. And I am a developer and a tech nerd, and I would be absolutely delighted to discuss with you exactly what makes a second layer and exactly how that works, but we won't do that now because we don't have time. But I want to tell you why this is important, right? I'm not just talking about Bitcoin, why I'm talking about Lightning, and then at the end, we'll tie this all back in with AI, right? So here we have Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, and what does Lightning do for us? All right, so when we have Lightning, we have economically feasible micropayments, right? So we have technically feasible micropayments in all kinds of places. You could do a micropayment on chain if you wanted to. You're able to do that with the credit card, but we don't because these things are not economically feasible, right? With Lightning, you have incredibly fast, lightning fast transactions, and you pay, the fees are so tiny, like a fraction of a penny kind of tiny. So you have economically feasible micropayments, which makes a very big difference. And you see a lot of, you might hear, especially when it comes to AI, about other blockchains or other platforms that, maybe work with AI and this sort of stuff. It is my opinion that Lightning is absolutely the best for this. That it is, when you're looking at that specific use case of commerce and payments, that Lightning is the best. And I don't love Lightning because I work with it. I work with it because I love it. So if there were something better, I would be using that instead and talking to you about that instead, but that is not the case. All right, so let's talk briefly about what you can do when you have micropayments. You can do paid APIs. You can do firewalls, which will demonstrate, or paywalls, sorry, which we'll demonstrate in a moment. I have a little demo video on that. But you can do things you can do right now today. You could download an application and you could stream some content and in some cases pay by the second with micropayments, to obtain that content, or in some cases get paid to consume content, right? So very interesting stuff that you can do with Lightning that is not only technically feasible, but economically makes sense to do so. All right, then on top of all of that, now that I've explained a little bit about the Lightning Network, I want to add to it stable coins, right? And I want to introduce the concept here, hold on, there we go, of a multi-asset Lightning network, right? So we can imagine a Lightning network. There is this protocol called Taproot Assets. Has anyone heard of that? You two are cheating. So you two, yeah. Okay, we have a couple other people. All right, cool. So the idea is that we can take something like a stable coin, all right, and add it, a fungible asset, and add it to the Lightning Network and exchange it there. So I want to give you a bit of an example story, which I have shamelessly stolen from one of my colleagues at Lightning Labs. His name's Michael. And this is the story. So I go to Japan, right? And I am with my friend Sophia, who is from Mexico, and me and Sophia go out to lunch in Japan. We get to pay the bill. I say, hey, I'll cover the bill. You send me half of it. Okay, no problem. So I have a US dollar. I have US dollar stablecoin, right? I have US dollars. I pay the bill. I pay in US dollars. The restaurant receives yen. Sophia wants to pay me for my half. She pays with pesos, but I receive Bitcoin, right? And all of this can happen on the Lightning Network. This is something that is technically feasible today, right? We can do all of this right now. And so that is with the Taproot Assets protocol. And I want to bring this up because I think when we're talking about adopting this technology, it's very important to have something like a stable coin, because then you say, hey, go use this new payment method, right? Go use this new network. But we're not asking you to adopt a new unit of account, and we're not asking you to have to manage the volatility of Bitcoin, right? And I think this makes a huge difference in this scenario. All right, so now we're going to bring this all back around and talk about, now that we understand what the Lightning Network is and we understand that we can have a multi-asset Lightning Network. And I don't know if anyone saw the announcement that Tether is going to be minting on Bitcoin using Taproot Assets. Did anyone catch that announcement? Yep, that was a pretty big one, pretty cool. So, very soon, right, I imagine we'll be doing a lot of this stuff, paying AI bots using something like Tether on the Lightning Network. All right, so I want to show you in a second here, I'm going to show you a video, and I want to give you a little bit of background information. First of all, I'm going to show you a demo video that I made a year and a half ago, where I think it's about a year ago, where I am demonstrating how you can train an AI bot to go out and buy things on the internet for you using Lightning payments. So a couple of things you want to know about that. There's an HTTP error code called 402, which is payment required. And the protocol that I'm using there is called L402, so Lightning 402. So it's a way to buy access to something using the Lightning Network. So we're using a program called Aperture, a protocol called L402s, and we're talking about an HTTP 402 error code. So I will give you all that context for the video, and then, because I'm not used to a Mac, she is going to help push the buttons for me because I will mess it up. So it's about 1 minute long. Here I'm asking my AI agent to go out and purchase an inspirational quote for me. You can see that first it pings that API on my demo site, and it gets back an HTTP 402 error code with a Lightning invoice. My AI agent will go out and pay that invoice for me, construct a valid L402 access token, go back to that API, and ask for that quote again. Aperture will validate that L402, see that my AI agent has indeed paid for access, and then send back one of my personal favorite inspirational quotes. So what we just saw was a Bitcoin-aware AI agent go out and buy some data for me using the Lightning Network. Awesome. All right, so I'm switch back. So a short video, and what we're looking at there is stuff that's happening on the command line, right? That's like a demo that I did using command line stuff. But of course, if this can happen on the command line, right? This is about a year ago. Things have progressed a good amount, and soon, we have nice UIs to do these things. All right, so I am going to just put up some resources up on the screen here. So again, if you scan this QR code, you get this slide deck where you can click on all those various different links. And so I hope before we're quite done, I just want to say that so I think that when we have this combination of a payment network as powerful and as fast and as affordable as Lightning, and then we have this multi-asset network, and then we combine that with AI, I hope you all can see how very soon you might be paying a bot to consume some services or go and buy something for you. And I hope you see how this is a very, very good tech to do that. So thank you all, and I'm done. And we'll see if do we have time for questions? Okay, well. All right.
What are the current large barriers to adoption?
Okay, what's the current large barrier to adoption to this type of tech? I think that what we see, there's such a huge demand for usage of stablecoins, right, in other parts of the world, and just for like international exchange, right? So really, I see that there's so much demand for this stuff, and then there's so much use, like so many amazing use cases for AI. I think the biggest hurdle is just people out there building the applications that really make this happen.